New legislation passing the first round in the National Assembly could help patients and their families decide on palliative care and put a stop to futile, life-prolonging treatments. Korea and Japan will jointly seek the listing of the Joseon-era missions to Japan on the UNESCO Memory of the World Register. And Korean medical centers have held a large event in Moscow to promote medical tourism in Korea among Russian customers. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Wednesday, December 9th. I'm Luke Clary. We begin with a story on end-of-life care for patients who wish to end their lives with dignity. Under new legislation passing the first round at the National Assembly, those with interminable diseases and their families will be able to decide on palliative care and putting a stop to futile, life-prolonging treatment.
During a subcommittee deliberations meeting Tuesday, the National Assembly's Health and Welfare Committee approved a bill on hospice palliative medical care and decisions on life-prolonging treatment. The bill calls for ending futile life-prolonging treatment for certain patients who have no chances of recovery, do not respond to treatment, and who have rapidly entered into the terminal stage of an illness as diagnosed by more than 2 doctors. Life-prolonging treatment refers to extending the life of terminally ill patients through ways of CPR, artificial respiration, hemodialysis, or anticancer medication. The bill only allows suspending the life-extending treatment for patients who are conscious and have clearly expressed their will to do so, together with their doctors. Treatment can also be halted when certain conditions are met for various other scenarios. For example, if the patient is unconscious but presuming his or her will is possible, or cases when this is simply not possible at all.
Once Korea's free trade deals with China, Vietnam, and New Zealand take effect next year, Korea will have free trade agreements with 3/4 of the world. An export consultation event was held recently to search for ways to boost the nation's exports.
This small firm manufactures locks and handles for windows. After more than a year of effort, the firm finally established a presence in the Vietnamese market, which has been dominated by German companies. The Korean firm's successful strategy was to beat the expensive and rougher products of its German rivals with affordable prices and sophisticated, diverse designs. Once the free trade agreement between Korea and Vietnam takes effect next year, the 14% tariff will be lifted within the next 10 years.
가격 경쟁이 확보되면서 시장 진출이 훨씬 더 활발하게 이루어질 수 있을 것 같습니다.
This company producing diagnostic equipment has signed an export deal on the condition of partnership with a Chinese company. The partnership is necessary because Korean businesses must obtain certification from Chinese health authorities in order to export their products, even after the Korea-China FTA takes effect next year and the 4% tariff is lifted within 5 years. To maximize the effect of free trade deals, it's important not only to eliminate tariffs, but also to lower non-tariff barriers such as certifications. This export consultation event drew overseas buyers from more than 450 companies and over 1,000 small and mid-sized domestic firms. 57 firms signed a joint export deal.
During the Joseon dynasty, there was a diplomatic mission that traveled to Japan to deliver credentials and hold cultural exchanges. The missions were called the Joseon Tongshinsa. In a spirit of goodwill and peace, Korea and Japan will jointly seek the listing of the Joseon missions to Japan on the UNESCO Memory of the World Register.
The Joseon Tongshinsa was a group of delegates who traveled between Korea's Joseon dynasty and Japan to promote peace. They delivered letters between the country's rulers and sought to boost bilateral ties that were sorely damaged during the Imjin War. The missions made a 2,000-kilometer-long round trip from Hanyang to Busan and Tsushima to Tokyo, as many as 12 times over a span of 200 years from the year 1607. records, and relics of their grand march are designated as national treasures in both countries. Of these items, 120 pieces from Korea and 195 items from Japan will seek UNESCO Memory of the World listing. The joint bid is the first such case for Asia.
사실 매끄럽지 않은 두 나라가 민간인이 손을 잡고 그동안에 이것을 가려서 뽑았다는 것, 세계적으로 유례가 드물었다는 점, 그런 점에서 상당히 가능성이 높다고.
A decision will be made in 2017 based on field inspections and deliberations conducted by the UNESCO International Advisory Committee.
Many foreigners are visiting Korea for healthcare services these days. Korean medical centers have held a large event in Moscow to promote medical tourism in Korea among Russian customers.
A large medical tourism fair has opened in Moscow in time for Healthcare Week designated by the Russian government. 12 renowned Korean medical centers and companies producing medical equipment took part in the event. Their participation is part of their efforts to lure clients proactively rather than passively waiting for them to come. Last year, 31,829 Russian patients received healthcare services in Korea, ranking third among all foreign patients recorded in 2014. Russian patients also spent over $94 million on medical tourism in Korea, the second largest amount among foreign patients. Their level of satisfaction with the quality of healthcare services provided in Korea is very high.
Корея зарекомендовала себя как высококачественная медицина, точный диагноз, качественное обслуживание, клиентоориентированность.
Russian patients are also showing a greater interest in traditional Korean medicine.
Все понимают, что она представляет собой хороший альтернативный метод западной медицины и дает очень хорошие результаты.
On Thursday afternoon, Korean medical centers will invite some 100 officials from Moscow to publicize medical tourism in Korea.
With the Hallyu or Korean wave phenomenon having somewhat stagnated in Brazil, an event was held in the country to ask the Brazilian people about ways to rekindle the Korean culture boom. Check out some of their responses.
The first K-pop group in Brazil, called the Champs, is made up of Brazilian teens who are fans of Korean music. The group carried hopes of further spreading the Korean wave in the South American nation, but it disbanded early this year after surviving about 1.5 years. The number of Korean wave fans soared to 300,000 in Brazil before growth hit a standstill. The Korean Cultural Center in São Paulo, Brazil, has held an event to gather opinions from Brazilian youths, including students who have studied in Korea, on how to better promote Korean culture.
A proposta de trazer o Festival da Lanterna seria uma versão do festival que acontece nas ruas em Seul. Participar de brincadeiras tradicionais, como o turbo.
An advisory group on advancing the Korean wave, composed of experts and professors, was also launched. The advisors are expected to help in the planning and marketing of various Korea-related events.
Receber mais informação e precisa conhecer mais para poder aproveitar mais os produtos que vêm da Hallyu, os produtos culturais da Hallyu.
Brazilians are striving to promote the culture of Korea, a country on the opposite side of the globe.
North Korean media has been consistently reporting on the reign of terror perpetrated by leader Kim Jong-un. Some of the recent reports frankly show Kim Jong-un's number 1 and number 2 military officials appearing nervous in front of their leader.
North Korea's Korean Central Television has been broadcasting a documentary film about Kim Jong-un since last week.
김정은 동지를 우러러 허풍 같은 만세의 환호를 터치올렸습니다.
Kim Jong-un is shown surrounded by the North's number 1 and number 2 military officials, Korean People's Army Vice Marshal Hwang Byung-seo and People's Armed Forces Minister Park Yong-sik. Kim Jong-un gestures towards Park Yong-sik to stop applauding and have a seat. but Park instead looks at Hwang Byung-seo standing on the other side. The two officials remain standing until Kim Jong-un turns his head toward Hwang Byung-seo and gestures to him. The two finally salute their leader and sit down. A similar scene was captured shortly after Hyun Young-cheol's execution back in late April. Hwang Byung-seo, who was walking ahead of Kim Jong-un, appears startled and slows down. In other footage, Hwang Byung-seo and Lee Young-gil are shown competing to receive flowers from Kim Jong-un. Observers say that Kim Jong-un's fear-based politics may help tighten his iron grip in the short term, but will eventually backfire and threaten his regime.
3D printing is a fast-rising technology of the future. The versatility of the technique and its applications seem endless. In addition to automotive parts and precision medical equipment, 3D printing is now being used to make food.
These plastic containers are filled with a porridge-like food substance. A bottle is attached to a 3D printer, and the computer designs the shape of food. When the 3D printer is turned on, the machine prints out food. In a few moments, the printer creates an edible printout of the design on the computer.
We are talking about the future, the really long-distance future. 3D food printing will be able to provide our food, our daily food.
A small box is filled with white steam. This device, called Temposcope, recreates the weather of a region of your choice. On the map, the user clicks on Jakarta, which is experiencing rainy conditions. The box is transformed into virtual reality where lightning bolts are flashing and rain is pouring down from the cloudy sky. These technologies were among many that were showcased at Tech Plus, an IT forum sponsored by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy and the Korea Institute for Advancement of Technology. At this concert of knowledge, 9 lecturers, including Ji Young-suk, chairman of the world's largest publisher, Elsevier, provided development strategies and future visions for a people-oriented industrial ecosystem.
R&B group Brown Eyed Soul, loved for their rich emotions and soulful voices, has made a comeback with a new album. Their new title song has swept all the major music charts in Korea as soon as it was released. We have this and more in today's Showbiz News.
R&B group Brown Eyed Soul have returned from a 5-year hiatus. Their new single, Melody of the Night, marked by its soulful tune, has swept all 8 major music charts in Korea. The quartet will embark on a concert tour of major Korean cities starting in Gwangju on December 12th. Making a comeback from a 2-year break, singer Lucid Fall will release his new album in a rather unusual way on a home shopping channel. The singer's management agency announced that he is scheduled to appear on a home shopping channel in the early morning hours of December 11th to sell his 7th album, his new children's storybook, and tangerines he grew himself. Singers Jo Young-nam and Ok Joo-hyun have released a duet song. Titled I Will Follow You, the song was written by Jo himself and originally featured in the 1991 movie Soul Evita. This time around, it has been reinterpreted by the two singers. Leading session musicians in Korea also took part in the song's new rendition.
In the third part of our special series on exercise in winter, we're taking a look at ways to prevent dementia. Now, dementia has become a serious social issue, not just a personal problem for the families struggling with the disease. Here are simple but effective ways to help keep the brain healthy and functioning well.
Dementia is one of the many diseases people have to worry about as they get older. For now, prevention is key, as there is not yet a cure for those who are diagnosed.
치매 예방에는 아무래도 머리 쓰는 게 좀 낫지 않을까요? 뭐 안기라든지 뭐 구구단을 외우자 뭐 이런 거.
Many experts recommend finger stretching exercises as a way to prevent dementia. They say that moving your fingers helps activate and revitalize the brain. We conducted a test on a woman in her 50s to compare changes in the amount of cerebral blood flow before and after the finger exercises. The test shows that the pace of blood flow near temples increased at about 18% following the finger exercises.
실제로 뇌 운동 피질 중 20에서 30% 정도는 손가락 운동과 연관이 되어 있습니다. 따라서 손가락을 움직이는 것이 대뇌 활동이나 뇌 혈류량을 증가시켜서 치매에 도움이 됩니다.
Here's how to exercise your fingers. Bend your 10 fingers one by one from the right thumb to the left pinky, and then straighten them in order from the left hand. Next, playing rock, paper, scissors also helps prevent dementia. The key is to play the hand game to lose, not to win. For example, when one player plays rock, the other player should play scissors. Speed is not important in this game. You can gain the intended benefits when you play the game thinking about what to choose. Pressing on your fingers is also good not only for preventing dementia, but also for keeping you healthy. First, press on the roots of your nails to stimulate your finger. Next, gently pull each finger with the other hand to relax them.
손 지압을 하실 때 이 손끝에 있는 십선혈들을 자극해 주는 것은 머리와 뇌 쪽의 혈액 공급을 원활하게 해주기 때문에 치매 예방과 치료에 도움이 됩니다.
These simple, brief finger exercises can help you stay healthy and help prevent dementia.
And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.